I've done something really stupid. I am not a gardener, and I struggle. I really struggle. I always say I have a black thumb because I kill everything, but I just keep trying. So, some of you know this and some of you don't. Recently, there was a storm, and because I live next to a park, one of the large trees from the park actually fell into my backyard. And it was just, it landed on some of my fruit bushes, one of my fruit trees, and one of my shade trees. And it was dangerously close to a big arbor that I have set up for kiwis, hoping that someday they will actually grow kiwis. But anyway, so I got in touch with the Parks Department and I let them know about it. And it took, God, probably a month or so, but they finally did come and remove the tree. And I caution both the supervisor and the workers that underneath where this tree had fallen were fruit bushes and trees, that they needed to be very careful extricating this tree when they were sawing it up to remove it, because I wouldn't know the damage, the extent of the damage, until that was removed, so I could see what was under there. And they actually cut down, just completely cut down, the fruit tree and the shade tree. The bushes were okay, which I was really thankful for, because they were pink champagne blueberries. And you don't see those in the store, so you have to grow them yourself. And I only get about a handful, from my 6 bushes, but it's cool, and I like, I like having unusual things. So they demolished the trees. They didn't, completely cut them down. They just removed all of the branches and left these hicklety-picklety messes. I call it a mess because now I'm responsible for cutting the rest of it. So when I complained to the supervisor, I haven't even gotten a call back and it's been weeks. So I'm going to have to take it to the mayor or something. Anyway, that's not the purpose of the video. I'm just giving you a background story. So, because the branches are always falling from the park trees, it's completely demolished all of my fence, which was just a wire fencing, to keep deer out and my pups in. And I've kind of, just let that go. That's just a hazard of living here. I never complained, even though I've lost my entire fence. Well, now I've lost a fruit tree and a shade tree as well. So I had trees and bushes planted all along the edge of my property to separate me from the park, because there is a trail, a walking trail down there, and people can see into my backyard, and I don't like that privacy, So without these trees there's a big open gap that you can just see down the hill and into this trail. And so I've been trying to figure out, what am I going to do with that? I need to put something there. I have always wanted willow trees. Always. And my neighbor across the street has one. And I can, stare at it in the distance, and it's just so beautiful. And I've always coveted that tree. So I thought, I now have an opportunity to put a willow tree there, and that will, really obscure that path. And here's where the stupidity comes in. I don't research this. I go on Etsy and I find someone who's selling cuttings from a willow tree. And I thought they were established cuttings. I thought they would have the root system and, be a planting where you could just put it in the ground and it would grow. No, they were cuttings. It was just, they had taken a branch of a willow tree and cut it to where there were 5 little pieces, and they said, it came wrapped up at one of the cut-ins, wrapped up with wet paper towel, and they said put it in a jar of water and it would sprout leaves and roots, and then eventually you could plant it. And so I did that, and it was just amazing. And so I've got this jar, and I've got 5 cuttings, and they're growing, you know, their little branches and leaves. They're growing their roots, but you can see the size of that. It's not very big to start with. And I paid $20 for these 5 cuttings, you know, plus shipping. And I could have gone across the street and asked my neighbor to cut off a branch of their tree and done the same thing and save myself $20. So that's where my stupidity comes in. So I'm letting you guys know in case you didn't know and you wanted a willow tree.